still nothing on D-Live. I restarted the stream. That should fix it. And it doesn't. Stream. You guys still there? You guys still there? Dismiss. This is new stream there. It's gotta be fun. It's gotta be fun. It's gotta be fun. Where'd you go? Where'd these go? Says things welcome breaks suck. That's right. It's not working. So I've restarted, but it doesn't seem to be right because D-Live is still. There's something. What's that? Oh, there's D-Live. D-Live. See, I could not leave you guys hanging. I could not leave you guys hanging. No way. No way. My brothers in arms. My brothers in D-Live. My brothers in lemons. That's right. You got them. Lemons. Making that lemonade. I have no idea if you guys can hear me okay. Turn now and see what happens. Not pressure. Yes. Yeah. Hey guys. Welcome to the show. This is the third attempt at the show, and it is so funny that your intro audio doubling again. I think that's weird, Josh. Thanks. Doubling again. That's OKC when I say that. Yeah, both of you guys are saying that. Okay, good. But D-Live's at least on. There's no. Please confirm, one of you guys, that there's no audio doubling now, right? That should all be gone, right? Everything's all good now. Just confirm that with a text. It'd be great. Yeah. Guys, I'm sorry. I've been. Let's see. Only the music. Yeah. Thanks. Gotcha. All right. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, all. What the hell just happened, right? You get up to episode 193 and you pull something like that. Seriously, I can't even get back to this LOL best stream ever. How dare you, Hugh? Let's see if we refresh that page because it's telling me dismiss. Maybe it'll be. Please don't restart anything right there. I just got to be able to make sure I can see it. Nope, that says still. Nope, I cannot see any YouTube now. I'm afraid it's going to screw it up if I do that. Oh, it's okay. Guys, you know what's interesting? Is that I've been cranking. Test chat. I've been cranking on the show that I've got prepped for you now, and before I get to the show this morning, I still had to do. Thanks, Prometheus. I still had to do some. I had to pull some more video up. And I could not get one of the most important videos to download. And I really want that in this thing. In fact, this is why I've been considering changing up the format a little bit. And what I mean by that is that if I actually could like go live when I'm ready versus at 11 a.m. every day, I think it might be better. And it's because I'm starting to use more advanced techniques. I'm integrating video now into some of these things, and it just takes longer, that's all. It's just busy work, but it just takes longer to set it up, to get it all set up and stuff. In fact, I can't believe that I'm about to do this, but I'm considering not running this show today because it deals with such a crucial, huge topic. It's part of why I was up real late last night, was up early this morning, and all fun, all exciting, really looking forward to bringing this to you, but I'm not quite ready for it. I would like, I'm going to guess another 3 hours to prep. And if I didn't have like a schedule at 11, I could just do like a Friday night show, right? Like I could like change that time to say, yeah, Friday night, 7 p.m. And then I would sort of have a better idea, but then you don't always know because you're prepping. And I like deadlines. I'm thinking out loud here, but I'm wondering if I could even pull off not doing this show today and doing something completely spontaneous, more spontaneous than usual, and actually fixing this show, making it better, and going full tilt, because it deals with a lot of issues, namely eugenics. Yeah. Eugenics. And it's such a important topic. Oh man, what should I do? I think I should wait, guys. I think I should wait on that. I think I should wait. Yeah, right on, Brookline. Your improv game's good. Of course, you say that now, and who knows what you'll get, right? Who knows? Yeah, night show might be good. I only did this because I used to have loyalty to that guy, Owen Benjamin. And then the fucker stabbed me in the back. Was all like, anyone who wants to have their own light likes butt sex, and it just kind of threw the whole thing off. So I don't even know. I stuck to the time mainly for you guys, which I actually love this time, by the way. I just wish that I was more ready, especially for this show. We'll be here whatever you say. Oh, thanks, Jack68. You know what we can do right now, though? Do you know what we can do right now? I think we're going to wait on the show, guys. I think we are. In fact, if you guys have any questions or topics or free-for-all potpourri, feel free to throw that in. Don't feel like you're obligated. Steve Crockett, my friend, we need to talk. Boy, do we need to talk, right? You know that. I hear you on Chrissy, but I think I can fit this all in one part, and I think that when I did Eye of Ra in 3 parts, I think it ended up kind of hurting it because it's spread out over 3. I think that I could get this in an hour and a half. In fact, if I was doing like a more loosey-goosey kind of schedule, I could just run as long as it takes, right? This is the tease, says Bear Same Bear. It is a tease, you're right. It is totally the tease, but I would not mess with you guys. I like to think that I bring you some pretty good shows, and that there's a thinking here that, yeah. So, that's a great one. Let's talk about December 21st. That's a great one too. That's you should consider a daily Lucifer Knocked for 20-minute stream. I love what you're thinking. Belief is not an enemy. In fact, I love that name too. You should consider. I was thinking that exact same thing this morning. I was like, man, if I did like a 30-minute show, I could sort of like check in and then just like run with it, and then every now and then we'd have like this big show, what comes after Black Belt? That's a great question. I don't think you'll ever know, David. I think that once you're at Black, you actually become invisible at that point. When I say invisible, I mean that you are operating in a realm where you're seeing everyone's colors, the coat of many colors, the auric field that emanates from you. As a black belt, you're literally seeing those colors. And by seeing those colors, I think they're so awe-inspiring that I don't think that there's a paradigm anymore where there would ever even need to be a dojo. There would never need to be a mat. I think that at that point, you're basically just trying to... you're not even trying. At this point, you're watching the lotus unfold. You understand at that point that there's nothing out of place, there's nothing broken, there's, none of that stuff. And so I don't really think that you even get there really on the mat in black belt even. It would be akin to eagles hanging around with seagulls, It's like, imagine one eagle that's like, hey, let's go hang out with some seagulls. It would get really boring after a while. It'll get really, really boring after a while, I'm telling you. So that's what I think. I don't think there is anything after that black belt. Red belt after black. No, actually, okay, so Smooth Dog and Hank, you were right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we are talking about Dojo Earth stuff, which is basically you start with white belt, which is ignorance. That's the sheep, right? Someone who doesn't really understand or want to watch that. Then you have your yellow belt, which is someone who's coming from fear. A lot of our decisions are built off fear. It doesn't matter how cool or how hip you are or how truthful you are. You will find that you will use fear sometimes to react to a situation. In fact, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, if you perfect your technique as a yellow belt, you will be able to use that yellow belt when it happens again. But James, if you're a red belt or a green belt or a black belt, why would you use the yellow belt? And the answer is simple, because you use the belt that's equivalent to the amount of electricity you have at that time. And white belt would be low power down here, yellow belt's a little bit higher, right? Red belt's a little bit higher, then you got green belt, and you got blue belt, and then we have this black belt. So you might be caught in a low energy state. When you are among friends, you tend to trust your friends more, you have your guard a little bit lowered. If you're under the influence of alcohol, your entire egoic field is vulnerable, not permeable, it's vulnerable at that point. Those two things combined with poor nutrition, combined with a shitty day, combined with someone that's maybe sitting across from the couch from you lying to you about something, combined to someone that you haven't seen in forever walking in a chat who used to tell everyone you were Luciferian and that he had to run away from you to the woods and hide because you were a Luciferian. All these things would lower your current to where you would only be able to respond in a certain way. Like Snake Jones, what a fucking asshole. That dude's here in chat, which is great to see him, but that's the guy that went around telling everyone James is a Luciferian. He's trying to have an evil torch ceremony in the woods, and we have to stop him to save ourselves from the evil Luciferian guys. You're getting a red belt response from me because I think that's really fucking retarded for someone to do that. And so I only have a certain amount of electricity for him. I don't actually have compassion for him right now. All I have is just more anger of just like, why the fuck are you even here, dipshit? That kind of thing. So you're seeing a pure, raw, authentic red belt approach to that, which is defined by the amount of electricity I have for him at that point, right? Now, Mylon. Mylon is in here. I know Mylon personally. I have more electricity from Mylon. I have like a green belt level of electricity for him. It's more of a trusting situation because he's not the kind of guy that would stab you in the back and then walk on the chat and go like, hey everybody, I just got a farm because I'm all into tribalism, even though I made a tribal decision behind his back. That kind of stuff. So you get it. Of course he can take it, Chad. If he can't, he shouldn't be here, right? And this is part of how we do dojo. This is part of how we meet our opponent on our mat. And keep in mind, Snake is not my opponent, is he? My reaction to Snake is my opponent. How I choose to react to the electricity of that is truly what this is all about. My first task is to be authentic. My second task is to maintain my authenticity through the strife. Whether that strife be that I found myself in yellow belt, whether it be I'm in red belt, whether it be I'm in green belt, whether I'm in blue belt. All of those belts are not indicative of my intelligence, of my worth, of my hipness. They're indicative of the amount of electricity I have at the time. This is why we work so hard on saving, maintaining, growing, and nurturing our electricity. We don't shit on our friends. We don't stab our friends in the back and tell everyone else they're trying to run a Luciferian festival. We don't tell them the tribe has spoken, even though that person wasn't allowed to be in that meeting. We're simply authentic with each other at all times. That authenticity could look like a real childish response, right? It could look that way to you. It could look that way like a strong, firm response. It could look like a silly response. All of these things are part of our technique in dojo. How we influence others is going to be directly proportional to the amount of authenticity we have when we are acting on the mat. So these situations aren't necessarily an ascension program. This is not a matter of going from yellow and then you're past yellow, now you're on red. You're past red, now you're on green. No, you're going to find yourself unleashing these belts at different points, even ignorance. Yes, that you can have so much electricity that you will still not face something. Like Snake. Snake, while he was doing this to me, Snake was hearting all my comments. Snake was telling people how much he loved everyone who was giving him strife. When they were telling him real, authentic feedback, he was ignoring it. He was using his white belt to not face the truth. This is a technique we all use. It's not indicative of Snake being kind of a dickhole, even though he is. It's more indicative of just how we approach our electricity and do it. There's certain things that I'm not willing to face. My bathroom downstairs. If I would have looked underneath that bathroom and saw those footers and checked that out much longer, like a few years ago, it would have been a much easier approach I would have had. I still would have had to do this digging. Honestly, all the work would have been the same. I kind of really caught this at a lucky time. But my point is that I was still applying my white belt to that. I think intuitively I knew there was a problem. I knew I needed to check that, but I just wasn't able to actually go up there and face those things. Benjamin has the same problem. Benjamin still can't call me back from the time when him and Snake decided we are going to make a decision without James. Then we're going to tell the whole world before we tell James what our decision is. And in that decision, we're going to explain it's because he's a Luciferian. Nice fucking move, Snake. So all these things that we're doing are helping us grow. Even my childish behavior, which some of you might call it that, is helping me grow. After the live stream's over, I'll either kick myself or I'll smile at myself at how I responded to this. In fact, the live stream is a beautiful dojo for me because it's forcing me to put myself out here in a vulnerable, permeable way. Which is it, Linda? I don't know. Because it changes back and forth from moment to moment, doesn't it? We dilate these pores, and then we constrict, and we don't always know what's happening. In fact, before I forget, man, I was watching a video where this dude was like doing some parkour, and he jumped over this cliff, and instantly I felt this like this scary feeling, and something really profound happened. It's happened before, but I've never actually been able to have my awareness on it as it happens. But the pores in my fingers dilated, and I swear, cold air. I felt cold air coming out of my fingers. And I know you guys have had this experience before. I know you have, but you just haven't maybe really paid attention when it was happening. And I'm telling you, it's these pores in our skin, the beholder pores in our skin, are dilating so much that electrical energy is being released. I think it's like an exhaust port, kind of like an overheating problem, where your pores dilate and you feel this vacuum, and it pulls this energy right out of you, which just proves this point even more. And it's interesting that only the horses, humans, only certain kinds of chimpanzees. If it's not chimpanzees, it's certain kinds of apes. I think it's chimpanzees, and something else like something weird like a walrus, or not a walrus, but only these certain creatures, that humans are one of them, have these pores all over our body. We're the only ones. So we have this ability to dilate and constrict, dilate and constrict, dilate and constrict, not just in our eyes, not just in our first eye, but in our entire skin, our coat of many colors, as it were. Let's do this. Today is Friday, December 4. And December 4 is, oh, look at that. It's right up there at the top of the Advent calendar. If you guys don't know about that. Let's see what's underneath this here. Today we have, oh, look at that. Look at that. Prometheus is behind the computer on that one, guys. Prometheus is behind the computer on this one. And he's got himself a donut. He's enjoying himself a donut. That's right. And I got myself a Shock and Bones. I've been thinking about eating these in front of you guys. Like, it's kind of not really a nice thing to do. And so I had an idea for Potlatch. If anyone orders a book during this live stream, you're getting this piece of candy. Now, you can only order that from me. You can't go to Amazon, because if you get it from Amazon, I will not be able to put this piece of candy in there. But if you order a book from me, the first one to order a book from me during this live stream, will get this piece of candy. And I thought that would be a pretty funny way to do that. And yeah, so we'll see. I did do push-ups this morning, Farm Cat. Thank you for asking. So did Josh. Josh Reisman kicked ass on. He did 100. Fucker. He did 100 in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Right? That's how many he did. I did not do that. I did not do 100 push-ups in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. I did. How many did I do? I just did as many as I could. I did, let's see, 30, 55, 65, 67. I did 67, and it wasn't 3 minutes. It was however long it took to brew coffee. I just did push-ups until my coffee was done. And, yeah, actually, it was, I did finish before the coffee, but it took me a while. It wasn't no 3 minutes. I can do that. I can tell you that. It definitely wasn't no 3 minutes. So, oh, thanks, Analog, for posting the link to my book there. Yep, you can buy that book right there. And I'll post it in here in case anyone can't see it. And then, what do you mean, no, you didn't, James? What does that mean? What does that mean, Hugh? I even have Joe Mega could back me up, although he wasn't actually here. But I did him as soon as I woke up. It was great. It's great. Yep. Okay. So, we've talked about we haven't really like gone into electricity. Man, that Snake Jones really fucking throws me off because if he was a fucking friend, he would have reached out to me. Instead, he comes into live chat like that. I get that everyone else is being nice to him, so I have to let it go. But it's like, fuck, man, that dude was such a dickhole to me. This whole Luciferian thing really, really set me back a while. And it's weird because all that came from Owen Benjamin. See, Owen Benjamin was texting Benjamin Balderson. And then Benjamin Balderson and Aaron are over there going, if you're not here on the land, you're not one of us. And I'm sitting here raising fucking money so we can have this event on the land to fucking help all of us. It's just so retarded, man. And really shows you this kind of cowardly bullshit that he has to fucking come in here now and do that and get everyone's love. So now I got to feel bad because I'm holding him accountable. I get it. It's fine. It's good vitriol. It's good. It's good vitriol, man. It's good. Then I heard him told someone some shit that wasn't even true about me. He was like, yeah, James drives a girly car or something. It was like, dude, my fucking car got repossessed. I fucking told you that. It's going through my fucking divorce. My car got repossessed. I bought a fucking Honda Odyssey 1997. I had like $800 in my pocket. The guy actually lowered the price so I could buy it. And I drove that thing all the way to New York. If anything, I was resourceful as hell. But to hear you going around talking about shit about you behind my back like that, man, just eat a bag of dicks, Snake. You're such a dickhole for even coming in here like that instead of just facing me like a man. I realize I'm talking shit about you on the mic now, which is definitely not a manly thing to do. But this is my red belt showing. It's my red belt showing, so it should show that way. Anyway, now that I've degraded myself, now that I've lowered myself as much as possible. Guys, it looks like this candy is gone. It's going to LA. It's going to Burbank, guys. This candy's going to Burbank. So you missed it. So tune in tomorrow. We will see who gets this magic candy. I love it. Just be you. Thank you, Bryn. Appreciate that. Do we need to talk about Snake all day? Because we could, or if there's other stuff, that's fine too. It's cool, right? Thank you, Chrissy. This is your platform. Yeah, and you know what? If I was better about it, it wouldn't even faze me easier. But maybe it should faze me because it's like, yeah, you don't even want to know that story. Anyway, hey, Sony Bear. Best wishes to you too. Yep. Okay. So. Oh, I wish I could talk about this topic right now. I wish I could talk about this topic right now. I will tell you, though, that it really, really pertains. There's a compassionary buildup once you have the buildup of enough electricity. You can apply these things and look at the vaccine program itself. And I'm telling you, you're going to be blown away when you really start to do the math. I should stop talking about this because... it's just going to make me talk about it, and I can't because there's just so much. I can't get there. I can't do it. So, yeah, we're getting. Is your mom available? People are asking if Snake's mom available. We could even end the show early. We could end the show early, and then it would be like an experiment of what a 30-minute show would be like, where I just talk shit about people that stabbed me in the back because they didn't have enough balls to confront me directly. Or we could not. Yeah. I would like to hear about Kaufman and Lauren Bright. Of course you would like to hear that, The Great Awakening. And Lauren is looking for a third. She needs a triangle to make that feel complete. So I think you could probably slip in there. And if you need me to put in a good word for you, it's not going to happen. So I hope that explains that a little bit. This is one of the shows I'm going to be like kicking myself so hard for doing. Redbeard, I don't think we're going to talk about them today because I've got all these stuff that I'm preparing and I lack a few more things. And I really want this to have it. So Redbeard, I'm sorry this has got to be letting you down. I get it. Normally I would try and be ready. It's so going to be worth it though if you stick around. If you don't stick around, I'm blaming you because came in here expecting this and it didn't happen. So yeah. Joe Mega, if this makes you uncomfortable, Adrian, it's a good thing to explore why. Yes, it is. I don't know specifically what you're talking about, but that's it. When you guys find An incident that makes you uncomfortable, say a person that pretended to be your friend shows up on your live stream and starts bragging about how cool he is. That is a perfect opportunity for you to look at your own field and be like, wow, where is the electricity in my field? Just like all your fieldings are giving you this valuable feedback. It's giving you these ideas of what your structure is like right now. Are you vulnerable versus are you permeable? Are you grounded or are you shedding electricity, right? And you know when you're shedding electricity, it's as simple as knowing, do you feel good right now or do you feel bad? It's true. A girl at Hooters. I know this because every time I've talked to a girl at Hooters, they always tell me how cold they are. A girl at Hooters is shedding electricity. She doesn't have enough clothes on. She's shedding electricity. It's pouring from her pores. And she's shivering, and that shivering is showing you that she's shedding electricity. But when you're feeling sad, you are shedding electricity. When you're feeling uneasy, you're shedding electricity. When you're feeling unconfident, when you're feeling paranoid, when you're feeling victimized, when you're feeling scared, when you're feeling nervous, you might be shedding. All the others, you're shedding electricity. When you're feeling nervous, you haven't actually shed it yet. There's a threshold where that energy is building. And if it's too uncomfortable for you, you're going to open the airlock, you're going to shed it. If you can hold it, if you can analyze that feeling, right? If Adrienne can analyze the feeling of why this is making her uncomfortable, it gives her the only opportunity she will ever have, to stalk this particular feeling right now, to stalk it with awareness, to apply her witness to this fracture, to heal it. And when I say heal, it's really for her own benefit. It's not like she has to go out and heal something else. Remember, your opponent is not a dickhole who accuses you of being a Luciferian in the forest. Your opponent is your reaction to dickholes who accuse you of being a Luciferian for trying to unite people to the land. That's all. It's my reaction to such a childish response to a ritual where we were trying to unite us to the land. Not only did we try, we still did it. It's been a blessing. Had I gone out there, I don't think I would have written this book. And I think that if I had a stronger electrical field, I would be thanking Snake for being here. I would be thanking him for that. And that's my own vitriol. So I'm trying to do this now in real time in front of you all. I'm looking at that relationship. And I'm trying to picture what made Aaron behave like such a shitbag to me, his friend. And the only answer is, it's not because he's a shitbag. It's because he only had that much electricity. He didn't have the electricity to call me. He didn't have the electricity to face his own actions. That electricity is not because he's good or bad. It's because he didn't have that electricity. Aaron wasn't with his family. He left them. He went out west. He was like, I'm going to go do this now. I'm going to learn how to do all this stuff. He was broken from his root. And while he was broken from his root, he was clutching at straws. He was looking at this Lord of the Flies, Murder Mountain mentality to kind of help him stabilize, when the entire time he needed to go back home, be with his family, and put his roots in the dirt. That caused him to lose all that electricity and to make poor, shitty decisions. And those shitty decisions cause vitriol for everyone, which ultimately causes growth. It gives each of us an opportunity to look and smell the energy and learn something from it. Right now I'm learning I do not have enough compassion for that dickhole. I don't. It's growing, but it's harder because he's making me do all the work. Him and Benjamin have both made me do all the work. In fact, I think, I don't want to call her out, but I'm pretty sure Rose was trying to play matchmaker with me because she sort of spoke to Benjamin and spoke to me, and then Benjamin friended me, and then we messaged back and forth. But Benjamin was messaging back and forth like, hey dude, what's up? How's it going? It was not a, hey man, holy fuck, what happened? Let's talk about this. So neither one of them Benjamin or Aaron had that electricity to approach it, and I did, and it's showing you that I wasn't even being compassionate enough by applying that to them. Although I will be fair, the entire time I've said about Benjamin Balderson, he just simply lacked the electricity to tell his friend the truth. Aaron actually went out of his way to backstab me. He didn't just do it on his channel, but he went to Beth Martin's channel and did the same. And then I think he's the one that told Beth Martins that apparently I claimed that she was faking her cancer, which is totally not true. What I said to Beth is I told her to her face. I said, Beth, this book doesn't feel authentic to me. And I think that Aaron decided that he would turn that into something else, and then it just got way, way, way out of hand. So it's all lessons for all of us. And so is my love triangle. And you watch me stumble all the fuck over that, right? You watch me set my own hair on fire. Like, well, you know, I don't have hair, but you watch me set myself on fire and try and recover from that. You're watching a guy in real time doing his best not to do well, but to be authentic. Because I know no matter what the fuck's coming at me, no matter how bad it is, no matter how embarrassing I'm going to feel, if I can find my authenticity and maintain my center, I'm going to be okay. And this is part of the main theme of Blueprints of Mind Control. It's this idea that everyone's trying to attack you from the outside. They're trying to make you cut your roots. Hey, Aaron, leave your family, come out west. Come fuck around out here for a while. Everyone's trying to get you to leave your center, to abandon that center. There's not one person in the world who's really there all the time, 24/7, saying, get back in your center, get back in your center, get back in your center. The only person out there that has capacity for someone like you is you. You're the only one that has that full, raw capacity to hold yourself completely. No one else does. Not the most beautiful woman in the world, the most beautiful man in the world, the most amazing guy, the most amazing girl, the most amazing partner, the most amazing parent. No one has the capacity to hold you except for you. And we're working on that. Tornado Soul, I still think going for bringing James to my awareness, and I think going for that too. Thank you. That's a great exercise for me, Tornado Souls. It's a great exercise. And if anything, I think Owen really tipped this off, because Benjamin and Aaron didn't really have enough electricity to be men. I think they were influenced by Owen. They saw that giant, which I was too. I mean, I'm not going to lie. But I just wasn't willing to take it as far as those two were. And that's, you'll see Owen do that with other people. But it's part of his stature. He's got that scaffolding. He's such a fucking giant, but his scaffolding is built on Hollywood. He built that up on falseness, which is why he does the self-deprecating thing so well. But all that's vitriol. Do you realize that I'm probably the best vitriol Owen Benjamin's had this year? He probably doesn't get any vitriol. And this is probably the best he's going to get. So if anything, I think that I'm helping him. And I think that Aaron and Benjamin are both helping me too. And frankly, I think Owen is too. These are expenditures. Belief is not an enemy. I thanked Owen for introducing you to me and the Bears and almost got banned for it. Yeah. Do you know what's hilarious is that Owen Benjamin bans me on his own chat. Yeah, the dude bans me on his own chat. In fact, I texted him about it. What did I say about that? He wouldn't respond because he knew I was right. I just saw this the other day because I was doing a search in my chat, and it was just like, yeah, he couldn't answer that. And that's why I think I'm really good vitriol for him. I think he's had that where, I could just be a giant and yell stupid shit that doesn't mean anything and people are gonna believe me. And he finds someone that's like, but Owen, that's not true. And he's kind of like, well, that's not fun. But anyway, I was like, lame as fuck, dude, is what I said. And he still hasn't responded back from that. But he can't even allow me to be in his chat. It's just pretty funny. I don't think any of our mods are allowed in his chat. Maybe. Ordered awaiting booking candy. Level 99 Dust. I think you missed the candy, my friend. Let me see. Oh, I see you too. Dustin, I'm gonna hook you up, man. I got to. How can I say no to that? But that's, guys, there's no more. There's no more. And I'm already promising tomorrow. See, I'm usury. I'm using Advent usury. Do you realize how dangerous that is to be advantageously usury? I'm participating in usury. What? Start preaching about the goyim next. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Yeah, Omega, James is shedding. He should have perhaps done more push-ups, smile, but his feelings are his own to work through, and his shows. I like JT, I like Owen, different cast. James is a Brahmin, man of knowledge and spirit. OB is a warrior, need them both. That's well said, Brookline. Takes an ear to make a pearl, but be careful where you throw it. There you go. I'm liking this stuff. Guys, I don't think you could find me doing a live stream without shedding, by the way. Owen is a... Yeah. I think he does get vitriol, Joey, but I think he declared what that vitriol would be long before that. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think that's actually vitriol after a while. Especially not when it's your own... I mean, it's your family, dude. If you're not happy about having a family, if you're like, I built this farm, now I'm going to move it. Anyway. The real tribe will weed themselves out. Snake plucked himself out. He shouldn't be here. I am, says IMD program. That's vitriol for Snake, isn't it? I agree, James D, says Linda B. Yeah, damn I am. That's right. One candy a day, says Rachel. Dustin, I think you're screwed, buddy. You need to, if you want a refund, you could order the book tomorrow. How about that? Actually, I think I might have another kind of candy to send you, so you guys already get stuff, when you order a book for me. These fantastic magnets, never before made. Yep. So, I was telling you, I'm shedding electricity. This is part of the live stream, guys. You're actually watching me shed electricity. Do you know how many times that I'm like walking around after the live stream, like kicking myself because I said things? It's like all the time. That kicking myself is the exact same feeling I'm describing that other people have. Like that nervousness you get, that feeling of unease you get, that jealousy is such a beautiful feeling you have. When I had jealousy for Andy for a long time. You could say I still do. I'm not trying to say I don't. I'm just trying to say that I really felt it palpably a while back. And that jealousy is a hard feeling. It's like a sucking, piercing in my energy. And I'm constantly pouring energy into that. You could say that I wanted to victimize myself by choosing those two to enter a triangle with because of how much I was being elevated. You could say that think about it. When COVID hit, people started listening to me more. They really did. They just did. That was actually before Owen, by the way. I'm not trying to say he didn't help, because he did, but even before Owen, that was Richie from Boston and stuff like that. There were people that were using my work, and I was getting a lot more plasma, a lot more electricity. I think it's safe and honest for me to tell you that there's a threshold that James True was used to, and I was getting too much, and that excess that I was getting, I had to offload. And what a better way to do it than a love triangle with a polygamist who couldn't even tell people she was into polygamy. That's the perfect way for me to drain myself. I don't have a family. It's this idea of starting something. It was like the perfect way that I could drain all that energy. I think that probably kind of halfway through that, I've tried to recover, and then, of course, then the Owen thing turned into Lucifer, because it's like, fuck, dude. You try and tell one guy that sodomy isn't in the sky, and he freaks the fuck out. But it's all these. I think Owen, if anything, Owen was training me how to have a good thick bark. Because I know with Owen, one of the things I noticed about him is that the people that attacked Owen attacked him very severely. And I think it's almost like a respect thing, where they're like, people were coming up to me and bashing me in the shins with a stick. And if I was victimized by it, I'd be like, ow, ow. But instead I noticed, that it doesn't actually hurt. In fact, if anything, all it's doing is showing me how strong my bark is. In fact, you hitting me kind of makes me sit up taller. So this is literally how you learn to chemically transmute what that energy is doing, what you're going to do with that energy, how you're going to approach that energy, right? How you're going to approach the vitriol of the situation. And that's really kind of defines who you are and the integrity that you have. Like Snake really doesn't have a lot of integrity, because right now he's in chat saying how everything's fine, everything's great. But it's not fine, it's not great. Dude violated some serious boundaries when it comes to friendship, when it comes to camaraderie, when it comes to just being authentic with yourself and other people around you. It's these kind of things will be in his prana economy forever, as far as how I'm dealing with him. Doesn't mean I'm holding a grudge forever, but it means forever. I know for a fact there's no fucking way in the world that I could ever trust Benjamin Balderston or Aaron to do anything with land and a new moon fire. I know that that is completely out of the cards. And if I was to go back into that, it would be me victimizing myself, looking for a situation where someone who's already let me down could be put in a situation where they could let me down again. And we do that over and over, but we never ask ourselves why. And the reason why we do that is because that threshold we're not used to. And how do you get used to that threshold? How do you raise that threshold up? You stand in it. You stand in the vitriol. I could have blocked Aaron. I'm not saying that the mods would have done it, but I bet you if I would have texted one of them and said block Aaron, or even said it, I bet you that one of them might have done that. And even that is me doing as much as I can with the little amount of electricity I have for shitbags. See? To actually extend what I can to allow that through. Exactly. When trust is broken, it's broken. And to me, I would be abandoning myself to make everyone else no longer say, oh, James is shedding electricity. Or James isn't really acting very mature. No, James is acting economical. James isn't acting mature. Because for me to be mature would mean I would have to step out of myself, put myself in your cockpit and look at myself and see, do I look mature? And that's way too much work. I can't afford that electricity. Why? Because I'm spending it on fucking Snake Jones right now. I'm spending it all on that shithole. And so I can't afford to do this other stuff. I'm doing the best I can with it. And that's an authentic economy. All of us have these prana economies with other people. And I think really where we fail ourselves the most is pretending or thinking we're supposed to forget and we're supposed to reset every morning. And I think that's truly one of the ways that we victimize ourselves while everyone else is telling you how nice they are. Right? That's why I go after nice so hard. Because that word is giving us a yellow ribbon to become vulnerable, to turn our permeability into vulnerability. Right? Right now I'm permeable with Snake, aren't I? But I'm not vulnerable. I'm permeable by accepting Benjamin's friend request. I'm permeable by responding to his hellos. But I'm not vulnerable again with that shit. And each of us are going to extend. Each of us are going to... Doug, your cockpit is your body. It's your Taurus being inside your cockpit. Think about it, Doug. Every single thing that is out to get you, germ theory, xenophobia, racism, sexism, ignorance, all toxic masculinity, all these things are trying to get you out of your cockpit. They're trying to get being nice, being vulnerable. All these things are there to get you out of your cockpit. When you're out of your cockpit, your autopilot comes on, and what I'm going to use the word demons right now. You don't have to use that word, but other things will take over. If you don't want to go all the way to demons, just hear trends, hear fashion, because those are the same thing. The very force of those things we could call demonology, because we are now into animism now, because we're no longer pretending that only people are alive, that only people have souls. It's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. Because we understand the entire system is a living organism now. And if we're going to do that, it means we have to imbue everything with energy. And the only way you're going to survive in this world where everything is imbued with energy, where everything is a living, breathing thing, is to find your cockpit, Doug, and get deep in there. Sink your toes into the bottom of your feet. Sink your bones into the tips of your fingers like they're gloves. Pull your scalp over your head like a helmet and sit deep in your bones. Your pelvis is a throne, right? Your temple is a crown. Sit in your cockpit. And when you're in that cockpit, Doug, you will be inside all the most advanced instrumentation that's ever been there. And these instruments are so subtle, they can detect jealousy from Syracuse, New York. They can detect anger. They can detect love. They can detect forgiveness. They can detect the most subtle energy bodies you could ever imagine, quantumly entangled from thousands and thousands of miles away. And you're only going to have that, Doug, if you're in your cockpit and if you've wiped off the windshield and cleaned off all the grease. That dissonant shame is blocking you from seeing the world in its true clarity. And there's so much power in that. Yes, Linda, get back in your saddle again. So much power in that. Dreamy Dudes, James, have you read about tree meditation, like communing with trees, Frill, Aura? I haven't read about it, but I've definitely communed with trees. I've lost too much electricity to tell you this story, so I'm not going to do it today. But I have an embarrassing, funny story about a tree. Yeah. Burning Tongue. Oh, Owen is always bastardizing James' material. It's kind of sad. Bears go cray. Idolism. Burning Tongue. Just the other day, Andy Kaufman's good friend, Jonathan... I can't remember that guy's last name. Jonathan something. Someone else quoted me, and because Jonathan likes Andy, he came in and said, James stole that from J.P. Peterson, which I didn't steal that from J.P. Peterson, but I didn't have to say anything. This other person that posted said, actually, this came on 11/27. It was weird. She had the date and everything. It was like, this came on 11/27. That was much before Peterson's video. And I did not participate in that part of the discussion because I don't believe that the ideas that you would say are mine. I think that this is part of the Akashic Record, and my antenna and the lack of bacon grease over my cockpit visor simply allows me to see things that are already there. And I really like Rupert Sheldrake's idea of morphic resonance, that these ideas organically bloom and pop up. And I don't really put much weight into who got the idea first. So I will say that Owen used to repeat a lot of my language, which I always took as a sign of respect. In fact, I don't know how he was able to go on after he turned on me, because literally most of the sentences that he was talking about, he was using something that was in that vernacular that came up from this crop, this live stream crop. Notice how I'm calling it a crop. It's our interaction makes most of this stuff come to the surface. This is not my language. People's like, well, your language, James. It's actually not. I don't say that to be humble. I think being humble is being fake as fuck. Seriously. I think being humble is being fake as fuck. Guys, I wrote a kick-ass fucking book. It's good as fuck. I'm a good writer. Why? Because I spend a lot of time on it, and because I think I have the capacity to be a great writer. I'm just saying that right now because I want you to know this is not me being humble. But these ideas that I have in Livestream, the ideas I have in Dojo, the ideas that I've written in my book, they're not mine. They come from my interaction with you, whether that be on social media, whether that be in Dojo, whether that be in Livestream, whether that be in chat, whether that be in phone calls. It's not my material. And I'm not going to sit here and waste my fucking time writing down dates over who I saw, what's safe, what first. And besides that, the fact that I would even pick one of the most popular names on YouTube and start plagiarizing his material, if anything, it simply shows that plagiarism is something that Jonathan considers all the time. But this electricity, this stuff, this idea, I could have fed off that. I could have said, no, this is my material and he's stealing it. I could have fed off that energy. I could have found that and bitten into it. And I don't want that water. I don't want that nectar because my roots are deep. My roots are deep. I'm in a resonance economy now. A resonance economy means I don't have to steal, I don't have to pilfer, and I don't have to be offended when it appears as if someone else is stealing or pilfering. Stealing and pilfering are constructs of a scarcity economy. Do you understand? A scarcity economy. It would be like all of us going to a concert in a beautiful a cello player. Lee J is playing, and they're playing their stuff, and all of a sudden one person gets up and says, "I need you to cover your ears." And I'm like, "Why?" And it's like, "Because you're taking up all the sound. You're going to take all the sound. You have to cover your ears." That's a scarcity economy. A resonance economy doesn't work that way. And guys, you and me, we are going to that land together. That land is already here. Zion is not in front of us. It's underneath us. It's right here. You are standing on top of it. And it is all resonance. And not one bit of it is a scarcity economy. And when you get enough electricity, you will find that even the idea of someone accusing you, or even accusing someone else of doing it to you, of this stuff, doesn't really mean anything to you. It doesn't really have any bearing. Not only that, but even if it's giving you free fruit. All right, now I could use electricity. I could have totally jumped on that. Even though it's giving me free fruit, I don't want to take that. I really, really, really want this energy that I have to come from a pure, raw aquifer, right? The pure, raw ether. It doesn't have to come through someone. It doesn't have to have permission. It doesn't have to be delegated, right? And all of us are doing that. That's what the apocalypse is all about. Guys, look at the oil industry, right? We claim that all of our oil comes from dead dinosaurs. And 2 miles down is the oldest fossil. 6 miles down is the deepest oil deposits we find. We believed in a scarcity economy. We believed in fossil fuels until the corona dilated us enough to where we're able to see the truth. And the same thing is happening with vaccines, which I can't wait to tell you about. The same thing is happening with eugenics. Guys, we are converting from scarcity to resonance. And this entire thing is going to require you, yes, you, changing. You got to pull out the catalytic converter. You got to pull that shit right out, right? I know you think it's an unleaded engine. It's not. You run on diesel. And that diesel you run on, it is frickin' biodiesel, baby. You are ready. You could put pure, raw organics in your engine, and you do not need to tap into a central scarcity economy to give yourself fuel. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here today. And guys, I'm sorry I struggled in front of you with Snake. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that you had to see that, and it might have been too much for some of you, but that is my authenticity. And it's part of why I don't have a channel that's like super huge, right? Because I'm choosing to pull my energy from its root and not just take what I can. It's a whole other way of running. But I don't wake up scarce anymore. I don't wake up wondering, how am I going to get by? I don't wake up going, whose energy can I steal today? I don't wake up going, what friend am I going to stab in the back and not tell them? What friend am I not going to be able to face until I can walk into a chat in front of hundreds of other people and use that as a covert witness to hide myself again? See, I'm doing it again. It's my red belt. You're watching James True exercise his red belt on the mat. And it's either going to be beautiful or it's not. You're going to have your own interpretation of that, right? You know, give me a dance. You know, rate it from 0 to 10, right? How was that dive? You know, go ahead. If you guys, let's do it. I'll take it. On a scale of 0 to 10, feel free to type in the chat how well I'm exercising my red belt with Snake, or how poorly, right? 0's poor, 10's good. I want you to know that having a red belt is not bad. Guys, if more people had red belt, we would not be going through this right now. We would have more autonomy, we would have more sovereignty. So many of us, we get that yellow belt and we just don't. We core dump, we open it up, we're not willing to go. But if you claim that yellow energy, if you claim that fear, you can convert it, amalgamate it into anger, into red belt, which is still good. Because that red belt is where all your power comes from. It's pulling all that power up. And if you can pull off, if you have enough energy and you can pull that off, which I cannot right now, I cannot convert this red belt into green right now. I'm trying to focus on making it a good solid red belt because I know my limitations. But if I had more electricity, I could convert that into green belt and show compassion. And I could see how Snake would get in a position where he would want to do that to me. But I can't do that. because this is what I'm doing. This is my red belt, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the authenticity I show. I'm not proud of how I'm doing. I take that back. But what I mean is that I'm at least happy that I'm being authentic about it. And I really want us to embrace the red belt, to embrace the yellow belt, to embrace the white belt. Guys, you're not going to get a white belt to jump up to black belt. The only way you're going to get a white belt, a sheep, to raise to the next level is to convince him he has something to be afraid of. And it's funny because where I'm at in my green belt, my blue belt, you could even say, I'm doing a lot of my talking, explaining how we don't have anything to be afraid of. This is the best apocalypse ever. But I know if someone's going to get here, if someone's going to get into this dojo and hang with me on the mat on this subject, they're not going to understand it unless they know how to amalgamate that white belt into yellow, the yellow belt into red, the red belt into green, the green belt into blue. You understand? It's a inukchuk, right? It's a pulling of power. It's a becoming of a giant, right? What would you like me to apologize for, Queen Bodicha Radiant? She says, you should apologize, show you the bigger person. And I would ask, does it make me a bigger person to apologize for something that I don't know what I did? What is it that I did that I should apologize for? Because I'll tell you, forgiveness is a virginity, and we whore that shit. We whore that shit out. That's what society is always telling you. You need to whore that shit out, man. You just need to forgive and move on. And what you're really doing when you're convincing someone to forgive and move on is you're saying, you need to leave that hole in your field and just move on. You just need to leave that hole in your field, that's all. You need to say, that field's okay. Snake, I'm fine with you doing this to me or other people. I'm fine with it. How does that help? I don't mean to single you out. Who even said that? Sorry, the chat's gone. I don't mean to single whoever it was out. Oh, Queen. Yeah, Queen Bodicha Radiant. But our biggest problem, I think, is we're a lot of hyenas. Snake was doing that. When I was telling Snake, hey, you've really upset me, you didn't talk about that, he would just love that. He would hit a heart comment. That was him saying, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Never able to actually face it. He was applying the white belt to it. So I would say that for me to apologize would really be to try and apply ignorance to it, to try and say this didn't happen. By making it expensive, I think if anything, I'm helping Snake train. Because I'm showing Snake that if you're going to come in this dojo, if you're going to be on the mat, you're going to have to be a man. You're going to have to be authentic. Something to consider. I could be wrong, Queen Bodicha. I appreciate you even saying that. If red is the measurement, you don't need a grade. Agreement's made. I don't know what that means, Joar, but feel free to explain it. I know that some people are kind of upset because they know red belt is like higher on the belts. But if you just think about the colors and what they represent, this is why they're colored this way. I think they make a lot more sense this way. And honestly, not every house has red on top, I don't think. I don't know karate. I'm not. If anyone pretends or thinks that I'm pretending that I know karate, I'm not. I understand psychology and to vocabulate a new word today, psychosomatics, psychoelectrosomaticology, psychosomatic somatoelectricology. Psychosomatoelectricology is something that has these belts, and they all, guys, once you start to look at it this way, I'll tell you, your compassion is going to increase, because if you see someone angry, you understand that they first had to amalgamate some fear. That to be angry at someone is to truly give someone respect, because you're respecting that they can hurt you. Do you understand? You're showing that respect. Aaron hurt me. Benjamin hurt me. I put my entire reputation on the line to put that out. And right as we were at the pinnacle of it, they both came out behind my back without talking to me and said I was a Luciferian. Tell me, Queen, what is it I'm supposed to apologize for on that? Tell me exactly what it is I should apologize for on that, because I'm still not sure about that. I'm still trying to figure out how that is. Do you understand? I raised $11,000 for them. That was going into the catering. It was going into a kitchen. It was going into all that stuff. And I had to refund. It took me about a day and a half to refund all that stuff. And I had to pay a lot of money in the PayPal fees to refund all that. By the way, someone kicked in and helped me on that. Thank you. But I'm just trying to ask, what is it I need to apologize for? I think that united we fall, Mammy. Mamie saying Queen is trying to be a peacemaker. Saw you saying truth division is slowing us down, divided we fall. Mamie, I think that divided we stand. And I'll tell you why. Because I know that they've told you all along. If everyone gets in line and conforms, we would be able to stop them. But that's like the most back-asswards thing you could think about. You're actually telling the psychology of someone, you need to abandon yourself so we can be more sovereign. Do you understand? That's back-asswards. No. Think about how much harder it would be to eliminate a bunch of patriots that were completely self-sustaining, living off the land. Think of how easy it would be to eliminate a bunch of patriots when all you had to do was pull toilet paper from the shelves. So United We Stand is bullshit. United We Stand is what communism does. Just so you know. I don't mean to single you out, by the way. Luciferian, where'd that come from, Sonny Bear? Because the morning star is called Venus. And I did a live stream about that. I just talked about how, hey, look, the morning star is Venus. And I talked about the Bible about that. And then those two. It was all three of them. Owen, Benjamin. It's funny. Owen, Benjamin Balderson, and Aaron Snake Jones was like, that guy's a Luciferian. That's how the whole thing came. In fact, if anything, I've learned to try and embrace that. Because if we were to be able to embrace that, we would embrace our Prometheus. You know, guys, we have these mythologies, but no one reads them. You know Icarus, right? The dude that put all the wax on and flew up to the sun. You're like, oh, he flew too high. This is what Owen would say. He flew too high. And he was like, oh, I'm going to go have butt sex. And he crashed to the ground. He shouldn't have done that because God was punishing him because he shouldn't have reached too high. That's what they tell you. They tell you that about Prometheus, too. That he punished you. But what no one tells you is fucking when Icarus was falling, he was laughing the whole time. Icarus met Epiphany. Icarus fulfilled his destiny. And it's only cowards that are afraid to die that seem to forget that they're going to die. And since they've forgotten that they're going to die, they think if they die, it means they lost. And the only way you lost is when we look at you after you die. Is there a dildo up your ass? Is you full of hyena bullshit from talking shit your whole life, right? Do you have freaking Alzheimer's because you have all these separate timelines of lives, which is a fascinating theory, Joe Mayer. How we live is everything. And if an eagle wants to come pull out my spleen because I was a fucking man, let's do it, man. Because I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And however that's going to happen, I want to be as authentic as fuck. And the people are going to spit on my grave. All you're going to do is water me. That's all that's going to happen. We're not here to get along. We're not here to forgive everyone. We're here to find ourselves. We're here to sit in our cockpit. We're here to be authentic in Mach 11 and Mach 17. We're here to smash and crash in the earth. We're here to destroy ourselves. And we're here to be in a messy, smoking heap. All these embers are burning around us, and we think we're dead. But we notice we're not. Not only do we notice we're not dead, but we still hear a heartbeat. Somewhere in this smoldering pile of death, we hear a heartbeat. And we focus in on that beat, and we notice that the Ark of the Covenant is our consciousness, and we are fucking alive. And not only are we alive, but we are now stronger because we have been reborn. We fell as the snake, we rise as the phoenix. We fell as the snake, we rise as the phoenix. And that is your personal story of resurrection. And you get to do that over and over and over again until you get it right. So do not worry about how you die. Worry about how you live. Worry about how you resurrect yourself. Focus on that. Put all your energy in that. All the energy you would have used forgiving everyone for treating you like shit, put that into yourself and say, no, I'm actually not going to forgive them. I'm just going to put this energy into myself right now. And you will rise. You will rise, my friend. Sorry for the weird... I'm not sorry. What a weird episode, right? What a weird episode. Prometheus doesn't apologize for grabbing dwarfs. No, he doesn't, B. Brushwood. In fact, if it wasn't for Prometheus, we would all be dead. Guys, do you realize the first cross, the very, very first cross in the world was two sticks rubbed together making fire? That's the living cross. The cross is the light. Prometheus is the cross. You are the living cross. You make fire too. How do you do that? You rub your two sticks together. You're made from the tree of morality, left, right, mortality, up, down, right? Snake dies, phoenix rises. You discern good from evil. You think one's always right, one's always wrong. Then you start to learn, wait a minute, I can reach all mother and all father at the same time. I can reach all father and all mother at the same time. You were integrating, and part of how you integrate means people outside of you are going to call you Luciferian. They're going to call you bad names because you don't need their energy anymore. That's why. That's why Owen calls me a Luciferian. That's why Snake calls me a Luciferian, because I do not need their energy anymore to stand. That's why. I no longer need to feed off that. I've discovered my own power. And that truly comes in self-acceptance. It comes in authenticity. The reason why Jesus was persecuted and crucified, the reason why that guy had to die alone, the reason why every single one of his disciples turned on him, yes, every one of them did, is because the ultimate silver coin at the bottom of the ultimate ocean, deeper than any man has ever swam, will only be reached by one man, by one person. Because no one will want to go as deep as you go to find your truth. Why? Because no one has the capacity to hold you like you do. No one does. Luciferian is not a bad name. Thank you, Nicholas Villela. You're right. It's not a bad name. We have watched this word, this name be shamed in an effort to victimize ourselves, in an effort to keep ourselves down. And the rising morning star is the most beautiful archetype you could imagine for becoming the phoenix. That you were dipped in salt, Satan, and you were risen in oil, Lucifer. And if you don't want to rise, you will persecute the very archetype you need to get out, which is Lucifer. Owen doesn't want to rise. He doesn't want you to rise. If he did, he would have said, James, it feels like you're talking Luciferian. We should have a talk about this. He can't do that because he doesn't want the rise yet. He's too afraid of that. And most of us are. And it takes trailblazers like Nicholas. It takes paladins to go out and say, I am defending this truth now. I did it with ego, didn't I? I'd like to think that I'm one of the first in the truth crowd. I'm not trying to say it's my idea. I'm trying to say that I did that when it was hard. I came out and said ego is good. And I fought it tooth and nail every step of the way. And the first time I said it, I'd get 1,000 people telling me, you're a fucking idiot for doing that. You're so arrogant, blah, 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 blah. And now when I do it, I maybe get one little peep. And even that person usually ends up running away after one sentence. They're just like, oh, shuck, I can't handle this guy. He's got way too much electricity. And why do I have more electricity? Because I don't shit on my ego. Because I don't apologize blindly. And I do apologize. I mess up all the time. I apologize all the time. This is not about not apologizing. It's about not apologizing inauthentically. You understand? Because that is your border. That is your permeable energy border. It's the outside edge of your Taurus. You need that. You need that. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate you. We got a dojo today, moderated by yours truly, I must say, which should feel pretty good. And yeah, so let's close off now. I would say airing of grievances, but I think I've pretty much just aired a whole bunch of grievances, right? Doesn't that pretty much cover the grievances thing? So anyway. Guys, I appreciate you. I even appreciate you, Queen. Anyone else who disagree with me, I appreciate you too. Thank you for the vitriol. Snake Jones, I think it took... Come on, James, you can do it. Oh, what a fucking asshole. I think it took a lot of courage for you to show up, Snake. I'm pretty sure that you showed up more out of ignorance. Oh, I just ruined it. Although ignorance isn't a bad word, but still. I think it took a lot of courage for you to show up. James out. This has been like what a show, right? What a show. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I really do.